Hey, this is Ish, and in today's talk, I want to go over what happens when your attention gets fixated on one particular chakra. Now, this talk is made under the assumption that you already know just a bit about chakras, and if you don't, that's okay. I have other videos where you can go check out where I cover each of the 7 chakras more in detail. But in this talk, I'm going to go over what happens when someone just fixated on one chakra and excludes all the 6 other chakras. And by the end of the talk, you'll actually be able to look at people in your life that you know well, or just even random people, and you can start to see if they are fixated on one chakra and they're very imbalanced personality wise. So, starting off with the first chakra, we have the Muldar Chakra or the root chakra, and this is known for feelings of stability and safety and overall sense of comfort in life. Now, when this chakra is imbalanced, then what happens is that you're overly worried about things, or you're paranoid because you don't have a solid sense of structure or stability in your life or safety as well. So, how this manifests in people is that you'll notice a lot of people who become very paranoid by reading the news or whatever they watch on like social media, and they think that impending doom is going to happen like all the time, or they're very paranoid or overly cautious about different social issues that are occurring. And in less extreme cases, you'll see this with people who are just worried in general that they might not do well. So they're constantly watching their back or guarding themselves and really doubting themselves. So this is where you'll see the first chakra issues. And a lot of people who are very anxious like all the time tend to fit here because they don't have a solid sense of safety. Now, for people who already have their general needs met and they feel pretty comfortable in themselves, how this manifests is that they will play it safe a bit too much. So they'll never risk or take any risk or extend themselves out too much just because they want to play it safe and maintain whatever they have. So they have a fixation on keeping up with safety and regulations and things that are tried and true and not rock the boat too much. Now, with the second chakra, this is the sacral chakra or Svadhisthana chakra. And this is right below the navel, and it's associated with feelings of energy, sensuality, and overall like zest for life and passion for life. Now, when a person is mainly just focusing on this, you can start to see how this manifests as really chasing external and sensual pleasures in your life to an extreme degree. And Las Vegas is like a perfect example of a imbalanced second chakra city. So basically, the whole town is built off of entertaining other people and making sure they have their different needs met, whatever it is, and their vices. So it really fuels that. And you also see a lot of people just constantly going to like nightclubs every weekend, like and doing it to like an excessive degree. Well, you can see that they're mainly focused or stuck in this second chakra energy, where they're chasing more lights and more music and chasing people of the preferred sex. So you can start to see how they're constantly looking at different hedonistic behaviors and also thrill-seeking behaviors as well. Now, with the third chakra, this is the solar plexus chakra or Manipura chakra, and this is associated with strength and power. The general mindset behind the third chakra is that a person wants to feel like they're very powerful, and in a healthy way, this is really good to have. But when someone spends their entire life just focusing on the third chakra, preserving this, you'll start to see this behavior where it's kind of like puffing up their chest like a fake, big gorilla or something, where they try to show off a bit too much or dominate others, and basically don't show any signs of weakness, but you're constantly trying to be overly tough in a lot of ways. So you can definitely see these examples play out in any kind of like prison shows. If you ever seen that, it's like people are just trying to be like the most tough person there. They're always trying to bully other people, and that's kind of their mindset like all the time. You can also see this in certain individuals. A classic example that a lot of people know of is Donald Trump, ex-president of the United States. So you can definitely see that in his mannerisms, he's always trying to preserve strength, whether it's in himself or the country, like when promising, like, we're all going to be strong. And he's always like, you'll see like these funny handshake battles he has with different people where he'll like, shake a president's hand and, twist their hand over, trying to like assert his dominance. So a lot of people will have this kind of tendency where they try to be like the tough guy or tough girl. And this stems from just an overly focused attention on the third chakra. So usually with these people, they actually need to incorporate some kind of compassionate practices and tap into their fourth chakra a bit more. Now, the fourth chakra is the heart chakra, also known as the anahat chakra. And this is, like it suggests, associated with warmth, compassion, and love, and really expressing your emotions and feelings as well. Now, when this is like healthy, functioning normal with people, people are very compassionate towards one another, they're very kind, and they're able to express their feelings properly. But when someone is overly focused on this at the expense of other chakras to balance them out, this is where you start to see the funny and stereotypical like whiny new age person. So some spiritual person who's like unable to keep their emotions together. They're always crying and just they're at the whim of their emotions rather than the way around, and they're a bit overly emotional at times and a bit too sensitive. So this is someone who's just constantly living in their fourth chakra energy, which needs that balance of the strength that comes from third chakra, right? But if someone skips that altogether, they have like no boundaries at all. And this is kind of like an analogy of an egg. And this is where the yolk inside is like the feelings, and it's kind of gooey, right? And then we have outside that we have the eggshell, but and the eggshell is like meant to contain all these emotions and the feelings and the yolk itself, right? But what happens if you don't have the shell in place? The egg is just gonna like the yolk is just gonna spill everywhere. It doesn't have anything to hold it together. So this is why you need some sort of strength, right? And this is what is usually prescribed to people who are just kind of going like at the mercy of their emotions. They need to develop more of that strength involved. And this doesn't have to be physical, although that does help. For mental strength, you kind of be going towards practices that take you out of the body and where you're observing your body. So, Stoicism has a lot of things like that. Now, the fifth chakra is the throat chakra, also known as the Vishuddha chakra, and this is in your throat area. And this is associated with creativity and expressing yourself, honestly. And when this is healthy, people are able to express themselves creatively, and also they're able to convey whatever they are saying just honestly and how they're feeling. And it's also associated with like channeling into your side hobbies and passions in life. So it's a very good thing to have. But when people are overly focused with this, you can start to see that they become a bit ditzy. So they kind of like they're in their heads and their delusions. They may seem irrational for other people because they're just rambling about their own fantasies and realities, but they don't have the grounding of the other chakras to keep in place. Now, the next chakras are going to get a bit more subtle, so you might not see it as much in your daily life. Actually, I would even say that past the fourth chakra, you're not really going to see all these behaviors very commonly. But with the sixth chakra, this is known as the Ajna chakra, or third eye, as it's commonly known. And this is associated with intuition and direct perception as well. And people that have, and when it's healthy, people get like good hunches and inner ideas on where to go, and it's able to guide them in their entire life. Now, a common imbalance here when someone is just only focusing on this chakra is that people get really unfocused. So they are unable to place their attention on one thing for long periods of time, all over the place, and also they are again very delusional in their heads. They at times may be unable to take action because they're just constantly thinking of the perfect scenarios, and they're a bit too much in their heads in general. Now, for the last chakra, this is the Crown Chakra, also known as the Sahasrara Chakra. And this chakra is associated with oneness and also connection with everyone else. So it's a truly spiritual and non dual aspect and energy that it provides. So this provides very healthy spirituality and a connection, inner connection to one's being and other people in life. But when someone is like only focusing on this is where number one, if it's like a very high level, like enlightened person, what tends to happen is when they hit enlightenment all of a sudden, like just out of the blue, they're unable to take care of their body because they're just only focusing on the spirit. And you're born a spirit, human body, so you need to eat and bathe and do all these like normal bodily functions. But when someone just hits that like all of a sudden, what will happen is that they're unable to come back down, and so they are unable to like take care of themselves, and they're a bit too much in their head and too much in spirit that they are unable to utilize their body in healthy ways and the human make use of the human body. So this is where they kind of just are very spacey, very blissful, and very loving and happy, but also just disassociated with everything. That's when someone is just like only in that. So you see this a lot with people who take a lot of drugs. Like back in '60s, a lot of the hippies took LSD and they did other stuff, and they kind of had like this like very like way of like behaving and acting where they were just like talking nonsense like out of their heads, and they're just like saying, oh, like I'm one with all the flowers in the universe, and they just keep like just repeating just stuff like all the time. And it's not even during the trip, but I guess they did so much of it. I've noticed like a lot of people that I've met even during college who are just like complete like you're just doing drugs like all the time like psychedelics, is that even when they're sober they're unable to like talk and speak and say something coherent. So they're just like just out there, right? So they lose the ground of reality. And there's actually a lot of energy associated with this. But again, if you just have these very sudden experiences, whether through enlightenment experiences or whether it's through just like drugs in general, is that you skip all these other chakras and you're exposed to just a lot and too much. So you kind of just get like various species. So by now you can start to see how all these chakras work together and they're needed for proper balance. And when someone's only focusing on one of these chakras, it manifests as certain behaviors very common to that specific chakra, right? So you can use this as a tool to see, hey, how many people in my life are just stuck in this, like whether it's your dad, mom, or friend, or whatever the case is. And the second thing is you can also use it for yourself. So notice, what am I preoccupied with right now? Am I just focused with like strength and like lifting and just tapping into my third chakra, or perhaps at the time I am trying to overly intellectualize everything, so too much in the fifth chakra, right? So you can start to see like where in life am I just focusing on one area, and how could I use this by understanding the chakras to come into balance. So I'll be making more chakra talk soon, so stay tuned for that. Thank you for watching.